Well, aloha kahiaka, everyone on today, Black Friday, or I'm going to say Giving More Thanks Friday. And Black Friday is just the word black. I'm just not into that. Anyway, happy. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. We got a great show lined up for you tonight, this morning. We're gonna start off with some Hawaiian music. I got some news for you. I got some. Our beaches are getting graded, and there's some jobs that are unfilled. And because of today is the day after Thanksgiving, we're going to have a special Thanksgiving discussion. And of course, we're going to close with our motivational thoughts. But first, before we do that, I'm going to bring on my good buddy Dylan Nonaka, who is from the Big Island. Now we got a couple people. Now there may be some. You all see some squares here. There may be some squares missing. Ashley is going to be joining us, but she just texted me right before the show starts. She's going to be a little bit late, and Heidi is celebrating Thanksgiving on the mainland. So, Dylan, buddy, it's just you and me right now, man. You, me, and Joan Valentine, who is here. Joan, welcome.
Holding down the fort.
Holding down the fort, and Auntie Joyce also can't make it either. She's got a conflict. She's going to have to miss the show. It's all Chris's fault. But we had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you, Auntie Joyce. Always food and the company got the food. No real company, but hey, it's all good stuff. So welcome everyone. I'm glad you're all here. You know, Dylan, we're kind of like, I was debating if we should do a show the day after Thanksgiving or not, and Dylan was okay with it. Ashley's okay with it. I'm like, you know what? Let's all give thanks to everybody and kind of have a post Thanksgiving thankful show, and welcome Kelly. Kelly is a member of the alumni Ohana. So Dylan, how's it going, buddy? How was your Thanksgiving day yesterday, and what's going on today?
Oh, it was a beautiful Thanksgiving. I have my house is the gathering place, so we had about 25 or 30 family members over, and it was fun because it's almost like a system now. Like everybody kind of knows what their role is in the dinner, so it's relatively easy to put on because my brother does the turkey, my mother-in-law does stuffing and cranberries. We had all of this different. Everybody's got their assignment, and so Thanksgiving just comes together, and it's an amazing meal. It was an amazing meal. So.
What is the most if someone was looking at a super traditional, mega traditional Thanksgiving Day dinner and they came to your house, what would they find that was like really weird or strange or something that they've never seen before on a Thanksgiving table?
Well, definitely we had turkey lau lau last night, so that was probably not something you're gonna see too many places. But my best friend from small kid time
explain what turkey lau lau is to those who've never heard of that before.
So a traditional lau lau is basically the taro leaf, and you wrap meat, and sometimes you put taro or sweet potato in it, and then you wrap it with the taro leaf, then you wrap it with a tea leaf, and then you steam it, or you can cook it in the imu traditionally. So you put it in the underground oven with the pig. And so nowadays we just use a pressure cooker. It cooks it in about 2 hours really quickly, but it's delicious. It cooks the meat down. It's just sea salt is all you put in it, and it's wrapped in the luau leaf, which breaks down. It's kind of like almost like a spinach type texture. But for Thanksgiving, one of my best friends does it with turkey inside instead of pork, and yeah, it's delicious. So it's a twist on a Hawaiian, it's a traditional Hawaiian dish for Thanksgiving.
Turkey lau lau. That is so local, man. That is so local. That is awesome.
Hey, and now we're totally obsessed with smoking stuff, right? So like my brother smoked the turkey, I smoked the prime rib. Like we don't use the oven anymore. We just use the oven for really even the green bean casserole I put in the smoker. So smoker is basically a fancy oven, but yeah, we're obsessed with cooking everything we can in a smoker nowadays. So
everything gets smoked.
Everything gets smoked. That's you can put pies in a smoker, because these pellet smokers are basically like ovens. They're really high tech, and you just set the temperature to exactly what you want it to be, and it cooks at 350 or 225 or whatever you want it to be for however long you need it. You just got to keep refilling the pellets into it. But yeah, it's a great fun way to cook now if you have a lot of time.
Well, that's what the holidays are all about. And speaking of holidays are all about, we have a bunch of our friends who are joining us. I'm really glad that you're all here. Tom is back. Tom Main, aloha from both from Chile, UK. Good to be here, Tom. I am really glad that you are here. That's kind of why we decided to do this for today. We knew that our friends were all going to show up and wanted to kind of be there for them. Ashley's going to be joining us soon, hopefully, and Heidi is out on the mainland with family. Uncle Jim is back. Uncle Aloha, Peter and Dylan. Hope you both had a great holiday. I had a fantastic holiday. Excellent. And you know what? I thank you, Jim. I guessed your question. He had a question from a year ago on Thanksgiving. What would we have at dinner for Dylan's house? You would have smoked everything. You clearly, now we all know. We all know, Jim. You would have smoked everything, and you would have some turkey laulau, which is awesome. Tremendous. Norm is back. Hey, Norm, welcome back, Norm. Give us an update, Norm. Aloha and happy day after to all. Yes, happy day after indeed. And Val is back. Val, mahalo to all of you for your Aloha Friday real estate show and always great content and positivity. Val, God bless you. Thanks for coming back. That's why we're doing it, man. You know, it's like we could have taken off today, right? It's a legit day to take off. It's, you know, it's the Friday after, and you know, I mean, I don't know what you're gonna do, Dylan, but after this, I'm gonna probably kind of take it, you know, bring it down a couple of notches and kind of smooth into the weekend. But I am all glad that you're here. It's great. Let's move on. We've got some. I want to let's start out with our, as we said, our new tradition over here. And you know, Dylan, I need to ask you, maybe either privately or over email, or you could just tell me now. But you know, here's the thing, man. Our Kanikapila. Who's next, right? Gang, y'all gotta try the Makaha Sun. So get your Siri or your Google or your Alexa nearby. We're gonna go for a nice spin over here. So here we go. So Alexa, play music from Makaha Suns. And then, hey Siri, play Makaha Suns. And then one, hey Siri, play Makaha Suns on Pandora. And okay, Google, play music from Makaha Suns. Gang, y'all got to listen to Makaha Suns. This is like the best band. I'm going to zoom in on this for a minute here. See if you can guess who's that guy in the upper left-hand corner of the shot. There's 4 guys there. Who is that? Quiz question, everybody. Guess who is that guy in the upper left-hand corner of the shot. Dylan, you know, who would you nominate, Dylan, for, like, if we were to do like a Kanikapila, who would you nominate for let's say our next show? Who would you want to? Oh, wait. Don't say, because then we're going to ruin the surprise. All right. So send me that, will you? I want to get some of your take. I love Makaha Suns, man. That's that's from the live album, by the way. That is one of the greatest albums of all time. And speaking of
the golden era of Hawaiian music, you know.
There you go. So here, so Ashley, when there she is. Ashley's with us. It was the golden era, right, of local music, kind of in the 70s. That was like the C&K, Cecilio and Capono era, and all that kind of stuff. Ashley, I don't know if you're a fan of Makaha Suns, but that is one of the great albums of all time. Welcome, Ashley. How's it going over there?
Good.
Oh, you remuted again.
Oh, sorry. It was good. It was a little post-Thanksgiving excitement, and then we had super strong winds. So our power went out, and then I was having some tech issues. I'm on my phone now, but that was my delay. I apologize. I hope you guys all had a good Thanksgiving.
You know, Ashley, you get the award for valor here in the line of duty. Your power's out. You got knocked. You got your power knocked out. And what does she do? She grabs her phone and hooks it up to do the show. Thank you, Ashley. You're totally cool. Great to have you here with it.
I'm gonna hop onto the computer though once this is finished doing its thing.
No worries. Let God work it out, and then just come on when you're ready. We'll be happy to kind of switch over. It's totally good. And I was just talking off camera to Dylan about, you know, I got the battery backup solar thing, and so power outages, I don't care anymore, sort of, in a way. You know, the high winds, we've had high winds, everybody. Yeah, it's been crazy. How's that been on your side? Because you're in the Kailua side, so you've been hitting the brunt of all the winds. How's it been out there?
It was kind of odd because it sort of reminds me, I was in this tornado one time when I was young as a kid, and I used to live in a trailer park, and this tornado went through the trailer park, and it didn't like affect, I'll never forget, there was like these trailers that were rolled over and blown over, and it looked like a total disaster. But when we pulled up, the mailbox had a stack of newspapers still perfectly intact, like right in the center of it all. And it kind of reminded me of that, where like the wind was whipping so hard that it was ripping the fresh, good palm leaves off. And our palm trees go, I don't know, 30, 40 feet in the air, some of them. And one whacked our window. yesterday, but it was a fresh guy. You could tell it had all the, it wasn't like a dead one, but yet there was dead ones on the trees right next to it that were just chilling. So it was fine. The power just went on and off a couple of times. It wasn't major, but it just little inconvenience. How was it for you guys or Dylan on Big Island?
Yeah, Dylan, did you catch any of that wind?
We could see it actually way out in the ocean, like from the, as we were eating dinner, we were wondering if it was going to come on shore, because you can kind of tell when there's like the white caps and it's windy out there. But we got a lot of rain last night, which it had been kind of dry for a week or 10 days or so. We didn't have a lot of rain, and it of course started raining Thanksgiving night, so it rained pretty much all through the night. So, and it was cooler. It was kind of cool for the first time in a while. I was kind of wondering when it was going to start cooling down, but it felt like last night was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Actually,
what about you, Peter?
Yeah. Well, it was good. We got lucky. I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. They were saying, gusts of 50 miles an hour, and there probably were some gusts that were maybe up to 50 miles an hour. But we live in the valley, so it's kind of kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it could be like crazy out there, and the valley is calm. Other times it's somewhat calm out there, and the valley is crazy. It just really all depends on the fine tune of the directions. But we survived, and I've got my high-tech battery backup power system with solar, and so I didn't even know if we had a power outage. I should check and see if we had any, but we all got lucky. We had a couple of friends who have been joining us since you jumped on. Let's see, Gianna is back with us. Aloha and happy Thanksgiving. We're really happy that you're here with us back again. Welcome back, Gianna. And Barbara is back. Aloha, I'm glad you decided to do the show today. You are the best. Well, no, you are the best. We're just here for you guys. That's why we're here. And I'm really thankful, Ashley, to you and to Dylan, who decided to make it in. Everyone, Heidi, well, she would have made it, but Heidi is on the mainland with family. Of course, we wish her the best. She's enjoying us. Diane is back from Makaha Towers and Bonita Springs, Florida. Awesome. And Ron, hey, I'm glad you did. It's lonely after. Yeah, right. It's like the fun's over now. Like the big who's brouhaha, the whole Thanksgiving gathering, right? Dylan's house would like packed, but today it's like everyone's gone. And Jim, right now the shower was 3/4 complete. Just need Heidi and we'll be all set. Well, yeah, you know what? We would be complete with Heidi. We are incomplete without Heidi, but the show must go on. So, all right, why don't we do that? Let's move on. Let's get some news going over here. So a couple of things that I thought were kind of interesting over the past few weeks, and you guys, you can comment on it as we go around. But beach has got to be. The Hawaii received a B grade in the 2022 State of the Beach report. So this is apparently there's some kind of a report that the state of Hawaii takes on itself, and I suppose the state of Hawaii gave itself a B, which means that pretty good, but there needs to be some room for improvement. So that's kind of cool. A lot of stories on worker shortages, gang. If you're looking to if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for a job in Hawaii, it's going to be a lot easier to find one. I got a couple stories on worker shortages. Healthcare workers, big shortage on healthcare workers, and also there is a big shortage for the visitor industry. Hotels basically said, if you could fog a mirror, we'll hire you. And retailers are also redoubling calls for holiday workers. So jobs are everywhere. Now, what the jobs pay and how that figures for the cost of living and all that kind of stuff, that's a whole other story. But the bottom line is there are jobs available in Hawaii. All right. What's this Space Force Regional Command? I just picked that out because it just sounds so damn cool. Ashley had made a comment a couple of shows ago that Hawaii is one of the few places, if not the only place, that has so many military bases within a short radius. I think it's the most concentrated, if I'm not mistaken, what Ashley had said. Well, there's one more base that we're adding, which is Space Force, the new branch of the military. We have Space Force Regional Command, and that just sounds cool just saying it. So I just dig that, and that has been established. The newest branch of the U.S. military opened its first regional command Tuesday in Hawaii, the U.S. Space Forces Indo-Pacific. How could it be a Space Force in the Indo-Pacific? I thought it's supposed to be in space, but anyway, hey. Why who am I to
Peter,
to question
what
that?
island is that
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
be on? Oahu?
Yes, it is. It is. Well, they said in Hawaii. It's got to be on Oahu.
It's got to be on Oahu. Yeah,
It's got to be on Oahu. Yeah. Some Pearl in the Pearl Harbor. Well, who knows? Probably one of the bases on Oahu. It's got to be most likely. So yeah, we have Space Force. I want the uniform. The uniforms are cool. They actually cloned the Star Trek logo, which I thought was kind of fun. Hey, anyway, so city is ramping up some. Looks like the vacation rentals. Interesting story. An interesting dichotomy on the vacation rentals, gang. So here's what I caught. So first, city is clamping down. They're coming down hard on illegal vacation rentals, which these days now is anywhere outside the resort zones are considered illegal vacation rentals. So the city is clamping down. And then, interesting, there was another story right behind that said the governor elect and the mayor team up, asking the owners of thousands of illegal Oahu vacation rental units to help ease the island's affordable housing and homeless crisis by renting to local families instead. So it's great, right? Get the carrot and the stick. We're going to whack you over the head with the fines, and then we're going to ask you for help to house those who need housing, which I think I thought was kind of interesting. And then finally, a story on the big. I don't know if Dylan, I don't know if you caught up on this or not, but apparently it was a story about they're looking at updating the vacation rental regulations. There's going to be a public meeting where they're going to be discussing any changes. I don't know if you've heard anything about that all going around, Dylan, but that would be interesting to know. Why don't we do this? Because I see Ashley is getting her camera ready. So Ashley, you go ahead and get that camera ready, but we're going to flip over to Dylan. Dylan, do you have any news for us? Anything you want to share from the Big Island?
Yeah, it was funny that the vacation rental bill regulation thing was more of a informational meeting. There's some proposed changes that the mayor's making, and of course that's got to go to the county council. The county council's got to draft the bill, so it's very early stages, and it was more of kind of a collection of information, one of those initial public hearings where they get feedback from the public, and it pretty much, they weren't taking live questions, but it devolved into just people chatting, making snarky remarks in the chat about how this is stupid and leave us alone, let us do whatever we want. And so I don't know if that's how it's interesting how, and we've watched this process in the past, the political process, when you have actual hearings and stuff where people got to show up, and be on camera and be that live in person. And then when you move that stuff online, it's, people just devolve into, just horrible humans when it goes online.
Lord
and
of the
and
Flies.
they give you a nameless, faceless, they can just tweet their public comments pretty much. And so that was a good example of that. It'll be interesting to see if that continues, if politicians continue to do that, because it's so much harder to control, right? I mean, because anybody can just get online and start making all kinds of crazy comments. So
yeah. Hey, before we move, Ashley, to you to get your take on. And also we should get some market updates too. But before we do it, real quick, I just want to flip over and put out a question for. I'd like you all to kind of think about this. So this is our thankful show today, right? We're the day after Thanksgiving, and for you, for the honor, for those that are here, pop it in the comments. I really would like to know, what are you thankful for? I'd like to get that. Please pop that in, and I'll be gathering all those, and we'll be sharing those as we go along. And then so for that, Ron shared. Thank you, Ron. Shares a joint base Pearl Harbor Hickam. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Ron, for looking up those facts for us. Dylan, before we move on to Ashley, did you want to share anything about market updates? Anything about the real estate market on the Big Island at all?
We'll get fresh data here from the month in a week, but I mean, I was just looking at number of sales that have closed this month, month to date, just to kind of get a forecast on what we're looking for in terms of November. And it looks like we're on track to close, around 400 or 450 properties on the Big Island, which is kind of back to, like we've been saying before, those pre-2020 numbers. We were up, 550 to 700 properties a month we're selling on the Big Island. And so that number has dropped pretty dramatically, and 30%. So it can feel dramatic, but if you compare it to pre-COVID normal market numbers, we're kind of back to where we were. And really, in October was a good indicator of that. We had 406 properties sell this October. There was 405 in October of 2019. So almost right on the dot, the same exact number of properties sold. So things are definitely slowing down in terms of units, but like we've been saying kind of last couple of weeks and months, the median prices are not falling, because we're still in a very low inventory market. You go back to 2019, 3,300 properties in the market. Today, 1,900. So there's still, 1,500 less properties for sale than there was in that normal market. So the buyer demand, even though the buyer demand is softer, it's still enough to sustain prices going forward, and the number of sales that are pretty comparable to that 2018, 2019 market.
The one, thanks for that up. The one thing I really like about the fact that we do this every 2 weeks is we get these small incremental changes, right? We see trends, these kind of trends evolving, and that same line keeps evolving, and we're kind of going back to pre-COVID, but there's not like a market collapse or any kind of calamity going on. Ashley, give us the update now that you've moved your thing to the new studio, your new studio.
Well, let me just add one more thing, Peter. So just
Yeah,
because I was updating my diamonds and deal slides, right? So that house that we had on the last show as my diamonds and deal house, which is great, great view, pool, lots of vacation rental opportunity. That one went on the market, I think that day or the day before, and had, I think, 7 offers, and and ended up over asking price under contract. So property's priced right and it's desirable. There's no slowdown in the market. So
they must have followed the Dylan Nonaka approach to pricing, which is give it a competitive price and let the market rule, right? As opposed to asking for a crazy price that you have to back off on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ashley, okay. Ashley, it's finally it's Ashley's turn. Ashley, give us the update. How's Oahu going? What do you want to share? Market news, or you want to comment on that vacation rental stuff? Anything you'd like to talk about on the Oahu side?
I agree with Dylan. The whole internet sort of mob mentality, when you don't know who you get to hide behind a veil of an internet name, is pretty gnarly. But nothing has really changed on our front when it comes to the vacation rental side that I'm aware of. I've also been completely out of the loop for the last 48 hours with a client appreciation pie party and Thanksgiving. So I feel like I was in a matrix for a couple of days. Oahu market, I would say I didn't look up the numbers before jumping on the call, unfortunately, but the other week we did see a 0.6% decrease in interest rate, which I believe is the largest single-handed interest rate drop in 41 years. So it's a good indicator that, we had an economist come to our mastermind last week, and, he thinks this might be a good indicator that we might see the interest rates not necessarily plateau, but not continue up to double digits, which they were projecting before, to subsidize inflation. Because every time they make an interest rate hike, or every time they make a adjustment, normally it trails behind like 6 months to see the results. And they had done 3 really large interest rate hikes back to back without seeing what that impact was going to be. And we're now starting to see the effects of it minimally. So the thought is potentially that they just slow down just to see what that's going to do. However, we do hear on, talk on the street, they're going to do another probably 1/4 point to 1/2 point increases into next year. So I think right now is sort of a prime time to look at real estate. I think that we have a nice dip in interest rates. Inventory is still, I'd say it's low for Oahu as well, but we're also going into the holidays. So if you're looking to sell right now, there's not a lot of inventory to compete with. As you come into the new year, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to be listing their homes. So I kind of think that right now is sort of this little sweet spot for anybody who's looking to buy and sell. And we didn't have that for the last 60 days. It was kind of stale. If you had to buy something, then we would recommend doing it. That's all I have to say for right now.
You're doing good, Ashley. It's just fine. Yeah. It's it's just great. Hey, so what's your take on now you're on the windward side, in the Kailua side. Have you guys seen, I'm just kind of curious if you guys have seen any kind of major changes going on over there in relation to the vacation rental kind of crackdown, or is that just kind of gone? That's been happening for so long, it's already felt its effect, because Kailua was becoming sort of almost like a second resort area. There were so many vacation rentals going on, so many Airbnbs. How would you characterize the changes that you've experienced there recently?
I think everyone's just waiting to see what happens with this bill, because I have friends and I have people I know who are still posting their properties for vacation rental. They're just powering through. They're like, we're just going to see and wait to see what happens. We're going to see if we get the fine. We're going to just power through. But when I was looking for a place for my family, I think it was hard to find anything. So it's weird. We're not seeing an increase in properties coming on market. I tell my clients, if there's a house you really love on Airbnb, search on Airbnb and VRBO. And if there's a house you really love, let me know and I'll go ahead and contact that owner directly and see if they're open to selling, because I think a lot of these people are just sitting and waiting to see what happens. They're not quite marketing, going for sale. They're not listing it to go up for sale yet. But they're also not advertising it for Airbnb. And then a lot of people are doing it under the table. You'd think that there would be this massive influx that would saturate the market here in Kailua, and we would see this sort of, I don't know, crazed panic, but we're not, and we haven't. And we kept thinking it was going to happen when they put the 30-day vacation rental in place. It didn't happen. We thought it would happen when they were going to increase the short-term definition to 90 days. Even though it didn't go through, you'd think that people were going to sell it before it did. It didn't happen. And now that, we ran into a peak of the market, you can tell it's going to be a downtrend. You'd think people would say this is the time to unload it, and they're not.
I think it's going to be interesting to see. Here's a guess. Here's my guess, and it sounds like in a way that you've somewhat confirmed it, which is that people are going to wait to see if the city is going to crack down, because the Department of Planning and Permitting and those guys that are in charge of enforcement have done an awful job of enforcement, absolutely terrible, and that's why this thing has gotten so out of control. Vacation rentals were illegal for like a long time, forever, and no one, basically no one enforced it. And so I think that those folks that were part of the doing it illegally crowd are going to continue to do it until the city starts to crack down. So I think we'll see.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. And now I'm just deliriously, haven't had breakfast, just running off of coffee. I'm a little delirious, so don't mind me. But brainstorming off the cusp here, it's really the hotel lobbyists that are pushing this so hard, right? It's not the city and state that seem to care so much. It's the pockets that are pushing the agenda behind it. So really, they don't have this massive incentive to try to enforce it, because they're not the ones that I think care. In fact, I bet you some of them have them themselves. And they're like, well, I mean, if we have to, we have to. And then you've got, a few, I almost just said Karens and Kens, a few, whatever the proper term would be, individuals who are going to care.
Concerned residents.
Very concerned and involved residents.
Activist residents.
That are going to self-police. But beyond the self-policing people, I mean, I think everyone just wants to be, it's hard to survive and thrive. It's easy to survive. I think that if you can get a good paying job and you have hustle, but it's hard to thrive here unless you can get creative. And I think that even local residents here just want that flexibility and freedom to be able to get somewhere else financially. And the best thing to do that is through real estate. And on Oahu, we're in a high price point market. We're in the middle of Pacific. The land's not getting any larger, except for your island, Dylan. But theoretically, it's not getting any larger. We're losing land, if anything. So people will just want freedom to be able to do what they want with their house and make a little extra cash. At least if they could do like on Oahu, we don't even have the law that or the rules that Big Island has. We can't even rent out a room if you live in it as a resident. And I think you guys can, right, Dylan?
Yeah, right now, the hosted rental, quote unquote, hosted rental is unregulated. The regulation doesn't apply, but that's one of the changes they're proposing, is to also apply some type of regulation to the hosted rentals. And that's where residents are getting upset, because they're like, it's my house, I live in it, I should be able to do what I want, right? And so that's where the conflict comes in.
That's where we're at in Oahu. We're like, let us do our thing. We live here.
So there's an interesting thing here, Ashley, that you brought up about the hotel interest. So there's this well-known phenomenon in economics. It's called bootleggers and Baptists, and that's exactly what this is. So I don't know if you heard of this term before. So I've said it before, but I'll repeat it real quick, because I think it's worth mentioning. It's called bootleggers and Baptists, and what this means is you have two groups of people that get together to change regulations: bootleggers and Baptists. Bootleggers are the ones that have an economic interest. Right. So the story goes back to Prohibition days. So back in Prohibition days, right, who wanted to keep bars closed on Sundays? There's two classes of people that want to keep bars closed on Sundays. Bootleggers want it closed because people are going to buy from bootleggers instead of the liquor stores and from bars. So bootleggers have an economic interest in keeping the bars closed on Sundays. Baptist church people, they want to keep bars closed on Sundays because they don't want drunkards coming into church. They don't want people drinking on church. They want coming into church, right? So there's a moral component, the Baptist, and then there's an economic component, the bootleggers. Same exact thing in Kailua. You have bootleggers and Baptists. Who are the bootleggers? The hotels. Hotels want less hotel property on the, on Oahu, so they get more economic interest. There's an economic interest to keeping vacation rentals closed. And then there's the Baptists. There's, you were going to say Karens, but there's those folks, those highly activist involved neighbors who don't like what's going on. They don't want to see their neighborhoods sort of ruined with vacationing people, et cetera, et cetera. So those two groups get together, bootleggers and Baptists, and kind of force through laws. Same thing, by the way, eons ago, before you were born, Ashley, with the Super Ferry. Super Ferry had bootleggers and Baptists. We had the Hawaiian Airlines didn't want to have, the shipping guys didn't want to see the Super Ferry going across, and there were the surfers, the surfers and the environmentalists who thought that the planet was going to be destroyed if there was a Super Ferry going across, and people who thought whales were going to be killed. And so you had bootleggers and Baptists. That's what goes on, and we have a lot of that in Hawaii. We have a lot of bootleggers and Baptists going on, right? I mean, real estate's like right? It's a well-known economics term.
Way
Just
more
look it up.
Politically correct than what I had said.
It just takes into account the reality of the situation, right? There is an economic interest and there's a moral component, right? And those two groups get together. And, Dylan, we've talked about this how many times? People don't like, we love the environment in Hawaii. We love Hawaii. We love the land. We defend the land. Nobody wants more development. Nobody wants more development except the people who want to live in a home. They want more development, but nobody else wants more development. And there you have even more of a complicated bootlegger and Baptist, because you know what? Hey, I like the fact that my house is worth 20 times what it was when I bought it 30 years ago. I love that. I don't want that value going down. I want that value going up. So yeah, no more homes. I've moved in. I've got a house. Prices, please go up. I don't want prices going down. So bootleggers and Baptists, right? Anyway, complicated. Gang, what do y'all think about that? Y'all get that, bootleggers and Baptists? What are you thankful for, by the way? I've not got. I guess we're all, asking. What did you say? You're in dazed. What was the term that's used? You haven't had any. You just had some coffee. Haven't any breakfast. You're dazed and confused.
I'm like barely surviving. I'm seeing little. Just ignore me. I might be delirious.
Hey, they're delirious. So hey, gang, and your deliciousness. We want to know what join our delirious group here for today. It's the post Thanksgiving. We're still kind of getting off of the turkey. Fill us in. What are you all thankful for? I'm thankful for that Judy's here. That's what I'm thankful for. Judy is back. Judy is a Islander Ohana alumni, and she is here. And thank you, Val. Val, right on time. Thank you, Val. God bless you. While it's not perfect here, every morning I say a prayer of gratitude that I'm waking up here in paradise. I've lived all over the continental U.S., and it took me a while to get back here, but there is nothing like Hawaii. The cost of paradise is worth it to me. God bless you, Val. You just said it, girl. You just absolutely said it. Well, let's see. Let's move on over here. Real quick, a quick pitch. Hey, gang, Islander Ohana, we are closing. It is filling up, and we're going to be closing the registration shortly. So if you want to get in and join, this is the Islander Ohana, and those who are in it, y'all know, you're all here. Let everyone know it has morphed into this incredible group of the greatest people that you can meet first coming to Hawaii. We're all bonded with a common set of values and understandings about what Hawaii is like. And the Islander Ohana is really all about, moving to Hawaii, living in Hawaii, getting along in Hawaii in the best possible way. You get to learn in a month or so, in a couple months, what took me and presumably Ashley and Dylan, decades to learn about Hawaii. And that's what the Islander Ohana is all about. So registration is going to be closing up. Get in there, islander.ohana.com, click on the join button and get the ball rolling. All right. So this is our big question that I want to touch on for today, which is really, what is it that you thank Hawaii for? Now, we all have a lot of things to be thankful for. And for those of you that are here today, please, anything that you're thankful for, I'd like to know about it, because it's just, there's a wonderful thing, attitude of gratitude is like the greatest thing that you could ever have. So please tell us what you are thankful for. But to Dylan and to Ashley, I really would like to know, what is it that you have Hawaii to thank for? If it's a uniquely, as much as possible, like a Hawaii thing, what is it that you're so grateful to Hawaii for? I really would like to know that. And that's kind of the fun discussion I'd like to have over here. Before we do that, but Norm is thankfully for the opportunity to move their big on. Yeah, indeed, right? Norm, he's got it. I am thankful for the opportunity to move to the Big Island. Dylan, why don't we start with you? What is that? If you had to kind of pull out, what is it that you have Hawaii to thank for? What would that be, Dylan?
I was thinking about this, and one example is, it's hard to put into words, right? But I was walking, I went and met a client at a oceanfront restaurant the other day, and we started talking and making small talk and stuff. And he says, man, this is so beautiful. I'm sure you get tired of it, or you overlook it sometimes. And I'm like, let me stop you right there and say, absolutely not. Like, I was just reflecting when I was walking. I parked my car and then I walked down to Elite Drive, and I was walking across to the restaurant, and I stopped and I looked out, and just looking over the ocean. It's a beautiful day in Kona. The cruise ship is in the bay, like waves breaking. I mean, it was just like one of those moments. It's like, man, this is like so grateful to be here. So lucky and blessed to be able to think, like, go. And this is in November, right? I'm like, walking, it's 80 degrees, the breeze is blowing. I mean, so that's the kind of stuff I think you have to just be conscious of, and sometimes stop and smell the roses, right? Like, stop and just look and appreciate, because it doesn't get old. I mean, this guy was like, I come here and I'm just in off date, for weeks, a week when I'm here and I'm hiking and doing all this stuff. And I said, it doesn't go away. You have to consciously try and not appreciate that stuff, I think. And that's something to be grateful for, right? I mean, there's a lot, you don't get that when you're walking around in a big city, or, a place that's freezing cold. I don't think so anyways. I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be focused on what I'm grateful for in those moments. So those are those kind of special moments that you can't never take for granted.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, that just never goes away. And we'll talk about that some more. That's a fantastic topic. I want to get Ashley's while you're in your delirious state. Give us your delirious version, Ashley. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just having fun with you. It's a lot of fun. I love that thing. I love that honesty, by the way. So thank you. What is it? So one thing that Ashley, that you said a couple shows ago, which really kind of struck me, which is, you've been here your entire adult life. I'm like, you know what? Me too. But what is it, Ashley, that Hawaii has done for you that you're so thankful for?
Well, immediately comes landscape, right? It comes the environment, the weather. But I thought about it, and honestly, I love 4 seasons too. I kind of miss it even, and I like the snow. So I have to say, I'm most thankful for the spirit, the people. I'm a very loving and affectionate person, and I'm from the Northeast, and they are not, culturally. So just being here, like greeting, and you greet with a hug or with a side kiss, just the amount of family and the amount of people that get together, there's just so much community and camaraderie, and that feeling, aloha, of love. Like, it's just prominent everywhere you go. And I'm so grateful for that. I don't think that there's very many places in this world that people get to experience that on the daily, and it has fulfilled me in so many ways. Just the people I've met and how I get to live my life now. It's exactly everything that I would want.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, that is right on. Joan, who is an Islander Ohana alumni, I'm thankful to finally be here. I'm especially thankful for you, Peter. It's my honor, and the Ohana cohort. I don't have any family, and the Ohana welcomes you and makes you feel at home. That is exactly what it's Ashley, it's sort of what you talked about. It's that very, very same thing. And I'm sort of trying to figure out a way to, not to say package it, but to kind of make it into something that's, it happens here naturally, but there's also a structure now, right? There's a structure to kind of make all of this happen. And you're so right. We have another great comment here from Barbara. Thankful for God's care and the protection the past year, just like the pilgrims were at the first Thanksgiving. I pray as a nation will be worthy of these continual blessings. Indeed. Amen. Amen to that. Amen to that. Tom, same thing. Thankful for all the lessons God still thinks I'm worthy of being taught. Man, I love it. I love it that there is a deeply spiritual component to those things. That's, I think, what thankfulness kind of brings to you. I think about. I was trying to think about what I was going to say for today on what to be thankful for in Hawaii, and I think I'd have to say, I was thinking about asking what that comment that you made, that you've lived. By the way, if you want to share, how old were you when you made the move to Hawaii?
I guess I would say I moved away from home when I was 17. I moved to California until I was I moved to Hawaii when I was 20. So I'm 33 now. So
You don't look
but
at the you don't look at the over 22. You don't look at the over 22.
I know.
The so like you, Ashley, I moved here when I was 21. So when I tell people, it's like I grew up here in a sense, in the sense of my adulthood. I learned all my adult values here. I've only operated businesses in Hawaii. I've only been a businessman in Hawaii. And I really have Hawaii to thank, gang, those of you that put the God thing in here, I'm going to share with you. It's like, when I first came to Hawaii, I was a stone cold atheist. I'm originally a Christian. And then I went to an all guys Catholic high school, which turned me into an atheist. Going to Catholic school will turn anybody into an atheist, turned me into an atheist. And then when I came to Hawaii, Hawaii's beauty was just remarkable to me. And it brought me back to understanding that, no, there's no way this is an accident. This doesn't happen that way. And Hawaii's beauty and Hawaii's people, and Hawaii is a deeply, deeply spiritual place. And so I really have everything really I owe to Hawaii. My sense of Hawaii's moral code, right, Dylan? Hawaii's got this amazing moral code about what's right and what's wrong. And it's strong. It's strong. There's a right thing to do. It's this great mix of I think it comes with the host culture, the Hawaiian culture, which kind of laid the foundation. And then you have all these sort of other cultures that kind of piled on top of it. So we have like the Bushido, the samurai code from the Japanese, right? Where it's like honor is everything, honor, humility, etc. is everything. And you have Aloha, which is the base thing that comes from the Hawaiians, which is everything, the Aloha spirit. We all know it, we all feel it. And there's some in a shamanic tradition that believe that the reason why the islands are so beautiful is because the people are beautiful. It's because of the Aloha spirit that you see this beauty reflected all over the place, and you feel it in a much more meaningful way than anything else. All those things, I owe Hawaii all that. I don't think I would have just been a kid in Chicago, just growing up. I would have just been, your classic Chicago guy growing up in the streets of Chicago, doing the things that people from Chicago do. Those of you from Chicago in the audience, chime in on me if you're there. But Hawaii, I owe Hawaii everything. It's made me who I am, and grateful beyond all belief.
One more thing to add on that, kind of connected to what Ashley was talking about the spirit and stuff. What's funny about Thanksgiving and Hawaii is Thanksgiving is a very American holiday, right? I mean, obviously, if you know the traditions and stuff behind Thanksgiving, but the reason we celebrate Thanksgiving, right? The spirit behind how the first Thanksgiving happened is like a very natural thing in Hawaii, right? It's not something, it's almost like not even a special thing. It's just so normal, right? It's like that spirit of giving and taking care of others and welcoming others in, and, service to others and stuff is like a very, very common thing here. And I think that's surprising to some people when they come here and you offer to help them or let them borrow something or take care of their stuff while they're gone or whatever it is, right? I mean, that's always a default kind of position and place that we come from. And so it's there's a huge connection, I think, between the spirit of Thanksgiving and Hawaii, even though the origins of Thanksgiving is very different. That has nothing to do with Hawaii.
That is a really, really, really good point. That is a really deep thought, right? Because you're right. It is a Thanksgiving was the pilgrims giving thanks for arriving and surviving, on
and the Native Americans taking care of them, right?
And Native American and the Native, they saved their lives. That's just an absolute historical fact, right? The Native Americans saved their lives. And here we are, move to Hawaii, come to Hawaii, and the native folks, it's the native culture, the Aloha spirit, the Hawaiian culture is the base culture, which we all know is the fundamental root cause, if you will, of why the Aloha spirit exists, right? And so we are thankful for that. That's a really good point. Actually, I don't know if you wanted to chime in on that at all.
No, I just want to ask Dylan, is Thanksgiving a big and important holiday? Because you're born and raised. Is Thanksgiving an important holiday for your family?
It definitely is.
Okay.
Yeah.
My other half, he's born and raised, and his family they don't really care.
I think there's some in the Hawaiian community that they don't celebrate American holidays as strongly, but I think my family's, especially my Hawaii family, right, my Japanese side of my family, I always tell this story. I've talked about this before, like grandparents' generation really wanted to be American, right? They were born here in Hawaii. World War II happens, and so there was this dedication to be American. So even though they were Buddhist in religion, I mean, Christmas is always a huge holiday, right? I mean, there was so there wasn't any objection because it wasn't necessarily part of their culture. It was American culture, so there was something that was embraced. So yeah, Thanksgiving's huge. I mean, we do it up real big in my house for Thanksgiving.
That's awesome. Something that someone pointed out as well, because I cooked this year and they were like, oh, I love that it's traditional. Mashed potatoes, cranberry, green something, whatever. And then they said, when we have our family Thanksgiving, when they do go to their families, it's a smorgasbord. There's everything. There's literally just none of it makes sense. There's no theme whatsoever. It'll be all the way from like I don't even know, noodle thing and beef this and pizza and rolls and sushi and all different kinds of stuff. Is that what it's like for you guys?
We were talking about this earlier, the pre-show, but we have a system where it's pretty traditional, and then you have some stuff that's kind of random. Like we had turkey lau this year, right? I mean, so you have like the turkey, you have prime rib, you have mashed potatoes and stuffing and green bean casserole and all that stuff. But then there's always, like, we had one of my aunties brought namasu. It's like a pickled Japanese pickled cucumbers and stuff. So we always kind of have your random thing, which adds some flair to the meal.
Namasu. There you go. Now there's something that we can barely pronounce that correctly, much less even know what the heck it is. Namasu at the Thanksgiving table. But
surprisingly, stuff like that goes very well, right? If you understand kind of the palette of Thanksgiving, where you have cranberry sauce, right, which is kind of tart and sweet, and namasu is kind of the same kind of deal. It's crunchy, it's tart and sweet, so it kind of goes well with turkey, right? Because you're kind of used to that if you're used to the cranberry sauce thing happening, right? So it all goes together.
At his, it's like chow mein.
It's not that random.
Squid, burgers, fried chicken, poke.
Well, because I mean, the essence of isn't the essence of Thanksgiving is to gather and to give thanks, right? It's not necessarily. I mean, the turkey is the tradition, of course, but it was all about it's bringing things together. So Ashley, that makes total sense to me.
The other reason it's organized at my house, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but it's an inside joke amongst my friends, is I don't like potlucks at all, despise potlucks, because there's no rhyme and reason and order to it, right? Like, if you're gonna have a gathering at my house and you want to contribute, I'm gonna tell you what to bring because it's gonna go with the rest of the theme of what we're eating that day, right? So it's a very clear system to our Thanksgiving where everybody brings stuff, but everybody knows what to bring and they've been assigned their dish. So when it all comes together, it all makes sense, and it's a Thanksgiving dinner.
Now, is that you, or is that the military in you?
No, that's just me. That's my whole life. There needs to be order. There needs to be order and a process.
You're 5 years old and you're like, Mom, I need a starch, I need a vegetable, and I need a fruit.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
I just want to see. All I want to see is the Google sheet with all the assignments and the notifications with the list in them. That's kind of what you made me think of. Yeah, I think Dylan is in the military because of his desire for order. Right, it's not the other way around. Right, it's because he wants that order that the military was so attractive to him. Hey, Joan popped in a comment here. Since Hawaiians and Native Americans are both indigenous people, I think it must be ingrained to help others in need and spread a loving spirit. Could very well be, Joan. Could very well be. It's that raises a great question. What is it? Are there certain indigenous genetic lines that have an ingrained spirit? Is it part of their culture? Is it part of their ways? I just know this, Joan. The Aloha spirit is here, and everyone who lives here knows it and feels it, and we know that it is the most important thing. Yeah, excellent. All right, hey, why don't we do this? Popping in. Let's see. Oh, we have a couple. We go. Norm popping a comment. Hey, Thanksgiving 1998, when we first fell in love with the Aloha spirit. Well, Norm, the fact that you remembered the year when you fell in love with the Aloha spirit says a lot about it. And so I'm thankful that you figured that out, that you remembered that, and share. Thank you very much. All right. Why don't we do this? Why don't we move on? Because I don't know if it's going to be, we'll see how the show's going to go. Gang, if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to talk about, bring it up. Why don't we kind of flip into our diamonds and deals and kind of see how this goes and play around it. Meanwhile, if there's anything else you'd like to know, I'm just making sure. I think I got all the comments right. Pop it all in. Let's do this. So let's do our diamonds and deals over here and flip to properties that we think are worth mentioning, worth going over, worth looking into. let's see. Okay, we're gonna skip this. That's Maui. I thought I skipped the mic. Anyway, okay. So, Ashley, well, you're gonna have to go into the details. There's that's a lot of details, Ashley. This is too much details for me
I
and my
know.
coffee to be able to comprehend. Go ahead.
Me
Go for it, girl.
too. Me
Thank
too.
you.
So bear with me because I'm delirious.
Go for it. Go for
It
it.
might be why I chose these photos because I'm just not thinking clearly. Well, in the Loon spirit and piggybacking off of how no one wants development, this is a development opportunity. This is
There we
a
go. Perfect.
9-unit parcel in Honolulu. So it's really close to the airport and it's close to Tripler. It's in Moanalua Gardens, if anyone's on Oahu or familiar with that area. It's over 3 acres. It's 3.3 acres. About 2 acres of that is not buildable because it's in a flood zone. So this, you can see in the bottom right corner, there's 2 existing houses here. And of those 2 existing houses, it's house hacked into 5 different rentals. And the owner does live in one of them. This is not for the average builder because I have a lot of investors who love CPRing, they love development, they love building. This has a 70-foot downslope. And so it needs to be someone who's not afraid of excavation, who's not afraid of retaining walls. Sellers willing to do seller financing, which is a huge additive for anyone who likes development. I put it out here because even at $3.5 million, or if there's any room to negotiate with the seller, you still have 2 single-family dwellings. If you lived in one, that's still 4 other rentals. But eventually, these houses will need to be rebuilt regardless because this land, due to its slope and due to the soil type, it does need to be packed. So you do need to have a soils engineer come and you need to pack the soil in order to build because there's settlement. But at $3.5 million for 8 buildable parcels, honestly, it's an incredible deal. It's over 3.3 acres in Honolulu. Prime location.
Actually, I don't know. Whatever you're drinking in the morning, just drink more of it. This is amazing, and it's a crazy deal in many ways. 9 parcels, and then you could. So what you're saying here, you could theoretically develop, not theoretically, but with the right planning, et cetera, one could put 9 homes up here.
Well, you can put 8 homes. So there's sewer and water permits approved for 8 dwellings. There's also sewer holes. There's access all the way down, even to the 9th parcel. So you can already get your sewer and everything. It's in place. Permits are approved. The CPR is approved for 8 buildable dwellings as well. And then the 9th, that 2.2 acres, you can keep that. So what happens is when you CPR, you can either pay a park dedication fee, or you can have an actual dedicated park that is available to the public. And then you don't have to pay the park dedication fee, which I think last time I checked was like $35,000. And so if you kept that 2.2 acres and you paid the park dedication fee, you could, in theory, it has a canal, it has a stream, Moanalua stream that goes through it. So you could create a little biking path. You could put benches all around it. You could put a little playground down at the bottom. It could be a wonderful 2-acre, think about the sellability of the 8 houses if they had this 2-acre private park that only they got access to. And you could put a gate at the front. It could be a really lovely gated community.
And the wheels are turning. Hey, let's Islander Ohana members, let's all go in on this one, right? And Ashley, you lead it, and we'll all go in on it. And Dylan will break it up with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and pop some money into it and have like a million shares. We'll divvy up 1 million shares and $3 per share and off we go. Awesome. Thanks, Ashley, for a mind expanding property. Thank you, Dylan. What do we got over here? This is Kailua Village. Interesting.
Yeah, this is a little condo, just 639 square feet, one bedroom, 1 bath, but right in, as in the heart of Kona as you can possibly get. You got that nice ocean view right out your lanai, short walking distance to Ali'i Drive, and all the stuff, restaurants and amenities in the area. Vacation rentable friendly, pet friendly. Just a pretty good deal in today's market. Condo inventory is really, really slim. So if you just need a little small spot to retire into, or as an investment to vacation rent and visit when you need, this is a nice spot right in the heart of downtown Kailua Kona.
So can I ask a question?
Yep. Absolutely. I was gonna, please.
Ashley wants to buy it.
What's the maintenance fees?
I think they're like under 700. They're not bad.
And is there any amenities?
There's like a little pool, but that's it. But you're literally like a short walk away from the Kailua Pier and stuff. I mean, you can just jump in the ocean. So you don't really need many amenities.
So is it resort zoned when you say it's vacation rentable? Is
Yep.
that you guys
It's
have
got
it
the right
resort-
zoning. Yeah. So you can get the permit. You can legally vacation rent it under the current law, unless they change it. But under the current law, you can get the permit to legally rent it.
So you need on Big Island, you need a permit. You can't just have it resort zoned and then
No,
be able to begin. Okay.
If you have the zoning, I mean, it guarantees you will get the permit, but you still have to apply and pay the $500 to the county.
Got
Yeah.
You know, gang, you all just got a what we would call an edumacation here on realtors talking to realtors. We had like one expert realtor ask another expert realtor a lot of expert questions. And if that wasn't enough, and talk about being thankful, I've got Judy pop this in, and just like on cue. Right. God bless you, Judy. Here's what she says. If anyone watching is interested in moving to Hawaii, you have found the right place. These realtors and Peter K are here to help you. Peter has an Islander Ohana group you can join to learn all about Hawaii and meet others who have lots in common with you. The realtors are caring and helpful as well as knowledgeable. You can talk to them without pressure and they will help you out. This will help you get is too much to put into words. God bless you, Judy. If I got something to be
Thank you,
thankful
Judy.
for, right? Isn't that great? Isn't that
Yeah.
freaking awesome? Hold on a second. Let me get the right view here. I'm hiding you guys in all the comments here. Hold on a sec. I think, okay, there's going to be a compromise here. Judy, thank you, Judy. God bless you. I really appreciate that. I mean, Judy has been great. Judy, everyone is Judy. Judy is not a paid spokesperson. Judy is one of the first members of the Islander Ohana, and she's worked with Dylan, and she's planning
She's here on the island right now.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you, Dylan, for sharing here on the island. Judy, I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope you're having a good time. And it's true. There you go. Well, thank you, Judy. God bless you. This is kind of what we're trying to do over here, right? We're trying to also kind of walk the talk, right? We're trying to walk the talk, to be what we are, to express what this is, to kind of set an example, right? To set an example for the people that are coming to Hawaii. You know, what's super important to me, is to have it so that, what is so special about Hawaii, right? That precious part about Hawaii. We want to continue that. We want to see more of that, right? We want to continue those great values, those things that have changed our lives, changed my life, incredibly for the better. And that's what this is all about. So thank you, Judy. God bless. Yeah, but anyway, it's fun to hear you two kind of going at it. So yeah, Ashley, great questions on the condo. Is it vacation rentable? Is it legal? What's the fees? Jump on the beach. Great stuff. Great deal too. 430,000. I mean, man, it's you could buy it, vacation out when you're there, take it, eat, and throw it back in what they call the rental pool, right? To rent it out as a vacation rental when you're not there, it pays for itself probably. And what for 430,000? That's a deal. That's a deal. All right, let's wind this up. This has been a great show, and I'm glad that you have all been here with us. We're going to have our closing motivational thoughts. I'd like to hear yours. Why we had this great moment where we kind of pose these things that motivate us, sayings, quotes. Pop yours in. I'd like to kind of see it in the comments. Let's start off with Dylan. What's yours, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I came across this past week and just thought it was perfect for Thanksgiving and the week, and especially for today, right? So gratitude turns what you have into enough. And it's funny that we go from Thanksgiving to Black Friday, where it turns into this huge material day of where we buy crap that we probably don't need for, less than we think it's worth. So just always focus on being grateful for the stuff that we have, because then you'll have all that you need. Pretty simple.
Amen.
Be grateful for the stuff that you have, because you'll always have as much as you need. Well said. Amen to that. Ashley, what's your what's yours, Ashley?
Wait, that wasn't the one I have. Go to yours.
Here.
That's not my updated one.
All right. So hold on. So hold on over here. We have a few minutes over here. So let's just back up for a minute here, and I'm going to do a live technical while you wait. See, so what happens if I start the slides, they don't get updated. So now we're going to have the updated version over here. So hold on a second, Ashley. We'll there you go. That's it. Okay, go.
We see a theme here. It's all about gratitude. Your attitude will determine your altitude. So I'm a firm believer that to piggyback on Dylan's, like, if you're grateful, if you have a positive attitude, the sky's the limit. I mean, if you're just happy and grateful for whatever you have, if you wake up, and I think about it, like, if I'm stressed in a moment, like, first I think, is this going to matter in 5 years? And the answer is usually no. And then after, I'll find something in that moment that I'm grateful for. And then all of a sudden, my whole mindset shifts. The person on the other side can feel it too. And then all of a sudden, a solution is found, or we just all get elevated to the next level. So I'm a firm believer your attitude is everything. It will determine your success and your happiness.
Well said. Well said. And Joan is chiming in on that one in her own way. Live your life in full color. Well said, Joan. Don't live a black and white life. Live a full color life with a great attitude. Excellent. Well said. Yeah, Ashley, you're right on the money, man. It's all about the attitude and the attitude is a thing that you have complete control over, right? There's no one controls your attitude. No matter what happens, you can still carve out something on the attitude. It is one of the few things that we have complete and total control over. Either way, excellent. Well said. All right, let's see. Mine, of course, I'm going to pull out my favorite thing here, my Proverbs. Let's see, Proverbs 16:24, kind of similar in a way to the theme here. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. Pleasant words. Back to the attitude. Speaking nicely is a way to kind of express that pleasant attitude. Talking pleasant words. Like I said, Proverbs says it all. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb. It means all the thing in the world. All right. I think that's it, gang. This was a fantastic. I really, first off, again, thank you. I personally am so thankful for a couple of really key things here. Number one, Dylan and Ashley, I am super thankful that you guys took your day out Friday to come and do the show. It means a lot. And it means a lot to the folks that are here. And that's who we really have thankful for. Like to Tom, who came from the UK. Mahalo, everyone. Lovely show as always. Tom, God bless you. You stayed with us until the very end, and it was great. So thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, everyone, for a fantastic a day, and I wish you all a very great holiday season. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Why don't we say goodbye in let's do it left to right. So I guess we'll do Dylan and then Ashley, and then we'll circle back. Say goodbye.
Hey, grateful to you, Peter and Ashley, and everybody that watches. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. So thank you all. Have an awesome weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you guys for having me on the show and allowing me to be a part of it, and everyone in the audience. Have a blessed day. Aloha.
A blessed day indeed. And mahalo back to you, Norm. Mahalo for another great show. Thank you, Norm, for being a part of it. What makes it great, Norm, is you. Thank you all. Have a great day. Aloha.